Improve it. Improve it.
Podcast.
Oh, okay, my Improve It peeps. You are in for a treat. If it sounds like I have tears in my eyes, it's because I do. Because today's episode is just so good. It's just so good. And it's one of those shows I'm just going to cry off the get-go. You're like, Erin, I want you to pump me up. But I just want you to know that sometimes pumping you up comes in the form of vulnerability. And that's what I'm doing right now, is being real vulnerable. Dr. Darnyelle hit on something so true to me today. And I'm going to keep this. I'm not going to edit this out because I need you to hear it. This show is so important to me. This community is so important to me. Improve It is so important to me. And sometimes, as a leader, as a host, I carry a lot of energy and a lot of weight. And sometimes I get down on myself. Sometimes I get into this fear mentality, this scarcity mentality. I don't believe that there's enough. I don't believe that there's enough for all of us. I get scared. I hold on tight and I don't let go. And I try to control things that are not within my control. And she spoke words to me today. I had a whole intro planned. I'm just shoving it to the side because I want you to know she spoke words to me today that I needed to hear. Because at the end of our recording, you didn't get to hear this, unfortunately, but I said, I needed to hear this today. I've been in this scarcity mentality. And she goes, you know what? I'm going to stop you right there. She said, I want you to stop saying that you're living in scarcity and you're in that mentality, because that is not what abundance would do. And this month on the show, we're talking about trust. And when we talk about trust, it means trusting all aspects of our lives, trusting ourselves, trusting that we're being guided to the right thing, the right job, the right career, the right partner. It means letting go and surrendering, which you'll hear Dr. Darnyelle talk about today. This episode is so special. And I have to say, if you are a person living in a scarcity mindset, grab a notebook, grab a pencil. In fact, actually, just go to our website or go to mine, it'serindeel.com. Scroll down and make sure you're on our newsletter because we're sending you show notes with some really deep dive, heavy homework for you in there every week. Every Wednesday when we release this show, you get those notes. So make sure you get these notes. I keep them saved in your computer and your email in a special folder. Print them out and put them on your desk. This show hit me at just the right time, and it was just the thing that I needed to remind me of this abundant life that I've been given, this abundant life that I've created, and this abundant community that I get to serve. So, let me tell you about Dr. Darnyelle as I'm sobbing through my fake eyelashes here. I want to make sure I tell you a little bit about her because you've never met a consultant like Dr. Darnyelle Jervey Harmon. She is the award-winning, iconic, and incomparable two-time Inc. 5000 CEO of Incredible One Enterprises, a multi-million-dollar coaching and consulting brand, best known for transforming the lives of her business coaching clients and live event attendees. She equips her clients to leverage and scale businesses that serve them financially and spiritually. In fact, over the last 10 years, she has helped her clients generate more than $1.5 billion in sales and more than $378 million in revenue. By teaching her award-winning Move to Millions method, Darnyelle helps keep clients collapse their amount of time it takes them to cross the $1 million mark, all while deepening their connection to God and strengthening their faith. Darnyelle is a 7-time best-selling author, the creator of 5 powerful business systems, and the host of the Move to Millions podcast with Dr. Darnyelle J. Harmon. Now she is introducing the world to the book she was born to write, Move to Millions. So you're going to see that. We're going to talk about this book a little bit, but that's more important for you to go to her website, movetomillions.com, to check her out. Y'all are getting the real raw deal right now. No pun intended. Let's get into this show, but just know, if you are living a life of scarcity, that today's episode is powerful and has the opportunity to change your life. Without further ado, let's get to improving it with Dr. Darnyelle Jervey Harmon. Okay, I am so excited for this conversation. I feel like I needed this conversation today. Dr. Darnyelle, welcome to the Improve It podcast. I'm ready to get to the secrets. I'm excited to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here, Erin. It's going to be great. I feel it. My little hairs on my arms are standing on end. So that means it's going to be really good.
It's going to be so good. And I just love your vibe. I love your energy. We don't tape the show. We use some of the show for little clips. So no, everybody listening can't see behind you, but you're like the purple version of me. I am the teal woman and you're like the purple version. We've got a purple wall, a purple shirt. Your book is purple. So I love this. It's nice to have a life color.
It is. And purple's been my life color since the beginning. I remember being a little girl and there's just something about the color purple.
Yeah.
It instantly lifts me up. I have a very chaotic upbringing. I was born to drug addicted, turned crack addicted parents in the projects. And so purple was my safe haven. It has been my safe haven. And so when I was building my own company after I left corporate America, it was really important that I create a safe space for me so that I could really flourish and get out in the world and do what I was called to do.
I love it so much. I was going to ask you why you were so called to purple, and that is the perfect reason. And is there a little pops of purple all over your house?
As much as my husband will allow.
I get that. I get that on a real level.
Yeah, so I have my own little wing that is purpled out, and then I've got little touches wherever I can afford to sneak them in without him getting a little upset with me because there's too much purple.
Okay, that's me and teal and my hubby. So I get you. I feel that on a real level. Okay, so every month on this show, we have an intention that guides our conversations. So this month on the show, we are talking all about trust. So, okay, first, knowing that, I want you to use that word to guide you for a one-word intention for yourself and for the peeps today.
Okay.
What's one word you want to give to this conversation or have people walk away with? If you could set an intention for that, what would it be?
Surrender.
Okay. I needed to hear that. That was nice. Yes. Okay. What does surrender mean to you?
So in this context, especially, surrender is releasing the obligation to have to be in control and allowing the decision, the intention, the vision to unfold however it might. Like it's either going to be as good as you thought or better if you're willing to trust the process, trust yourself, trust the universe, trust God if you are a person of faith. If you're willing to trust and in so doing, releasing the obligation to have to be in control, magical things can happen.
I cannot tell, okay, so I'm a spiritual human, okay? We talk a lot about spiritual things on this show. I'm a little wacky, a little woo. That's what I say.
Okay, I like
strong faith, believe in God. But sometimes I say universe just to support all people.
Absolutely, me too.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, God is the creator of the universe.
Yes.
So,
yes. Yeah. So that right there was something I was supposed to hear today. I just have to tell you, and I hope anybody listening, if you press play, you were meant to hear that because truly, I have found in my own life when I'm pushing, when I am trying to control situations, when I am overstepping, when really all I need to do is surrender and trust and let go and let God, nothing works. But when I do that, when I open myself up to intuition, into trusting my inner guidance or God, whatever you want to call it. Things happen and they're better than I could have ever imagined possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
I love that. Okay, I'm ready for this. Okay, because I feel like such a connection to you on many levels. But let me ask you this. You've talked about your childhood in the beginning with the color purple. Is there any experience, it could be childhood, it could be your adult life, where trust has played a significant part in your life?
Oh, everywhere. Everywhere. The thing that just popped in takes me back to my early 20s. I was engaged to be married the first time. That's probably a whole nother podcast episode to talk about all the engagements. And 3 months before our wedding, my first ex-fiance confessed that he had gotten an older woman in our church pregnant.
Okay.
Yeah, and the bottom kind of fell out of my life. And it was then that I realized that I was putting too much trust in other people and not enough trust in myself. I think that had I been willing to trust myself at that point in time, I would have never gotten engaged to that fool.
Yeah.
But I was chasing the dream, right? We were in our early to mid 20s and everybody's getting engaged and that's the thing you do. And that's what we were doing, but we weren't right for each other in the let's be together until the end kind of sense of the word. But I didn't trust myself enough.
Yeah.
I was afraid, if I'm being honest, that I might get it wrong, right? I had gotten it wrong so many other times before. And so sometimes in that fear, you make a decision that it usurps your trust and it delays your ability to find trust again. Because it took me many years to trust myself, and not just in relationships, but just in general, to sit in the seat of the significance of my gifts and talents and my confidence. That took real time because of some of the decisions that I made early in my life to not trust myself. So when I think about the peeps that will be listening to this episode and how they can ground what we're talking about right now into their specific situation, just take a quick glance over your shoulder and think about the last time in your life where you didn't feel 100% unequivocally safe. And I would venture to guess that whatever that moment was, if you're being honest, there's an element of trust or lack of trust at play that mess with your safety in that moment.
Oh my God. I'm thinking of my own experience. And I love that, I need to tell the peeps this. She called y'all the peeps before we hit play. And I was like, yes, this is going to be magical. This is already magical. So I hear you on that, because when we hear that little voice, that little nudge, and we don't listen to it when we push away from it.
Absolutely.
It always comes back screaming louder.
It does.
Man.
It definitely does.
Okay. Well, I want to switch this because I think trust, surrender, all of these things, all of these principles fall into line with your journey. And so I'm just so here for this. I want to hear the journey of how you developed $1 million mindset. Can you give me that right now? Can we do that together?
Well, I didn't wake up like this. Let's just start there, right? Yeah. I alluded earlier to being born to drug-addicted parents in the projects of Wilmington, Delaware. The saying is we were so poor that we didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. And I felt that as a child, as a young adult. And even still, there was something burgeoning in me, Erin, that knew that one day I was going to be rich. And I specifically use that word. Today, I would tell you I'm wealthy. But at that time, it was just about being rich, which is often just a function of how much money you have, right? Whereas wealth is holistic. And I had so many little lessons or cues around money that flowered and shaped the way I saw money. And I believe that the way you see money is really about the way you see yourself, right? So because your peeps are corporate, I'm going to speak corporate for a second. I didn't know when I graduated from college and took my first job in corporate America, I did not know that I had the right to negotiate my salary. I thought I had to take whatever they offered me. And what they offered me was substantially less than the two people sitting on either side of me because of the way that I saw myself. Like I remember my dad saying, as a Black woman, you have to work twice as hard for half as little, and you should be okay with that. Like that was what he taught me, which is terrible advice to give a child, let alone a Black child. But anyway, but it was his reality, right? I believe he spoke from what was his truth. And so when I became an adult and I took my first job, I didn't know that I could hold myself in higher regard and request that they pay me more. So I took what they offered me. It took me, I was in corporate for a total of 12 years. It took me about 4 to 5 years into my career, and I started getting promoted, that I realized through mentorship and reading that I had the ability to negotiate and make requests. And so I began to. So by the time I left corporate America, I was making 6 figures in my job, but I didn't understand the significance of that at that particular point in time. I also had many things happen as I was being raised around money that continued to flower the way that I saw money. And it came to a head when I became an entrepreneur. Because when you are working in a job, again, someone else is really setting the stage for what your salary is. And you get paid, and your paycheck is a reflection of your hourly wage or your salary minus your FICA and Social Security and all of that. Well, when you're an entrepreneur, there's a whole lot more people dipping into your paycheck.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
And so, I became an entrepreneur. I wasn't charging enough because I didn't understand the value of my expertise, the value of my contribution. It's much harder to assess when you have your own thing. And so that sent me into a spiral of massive debt. By the time I filed bankruptcy, I was almost 35 years old. I had $250,000 in credit card debt because I was living on my cards because I didn't earn enough, and I lived beyond my means. Like I was totally the whole keeping up with the Joneses. I don't even know who the Joneses are, but I was certainly trying to keep up with them. I don't even know who they are, Erin, and they get on my nerves, and I don't even know them.
I know. I feel you real hard on that one too. Real hard. Oh my God.
So by the time I was 35 years old and I was completely bankrupt and destitute and trying my best to avoid living in my car, I knew something had to change. And the gift that was given to me at that time is the bankruptcy trustee here in the state of Delaware. I don't know if he ever did it again. I don't know if it was just a Darnyelle Antoinette special. But he required that I take a financial literacy course. I really think he looked at my debt portfolio and was like, if I don't save this girl, she's going to be back in my trustee court again. And so I'm trying to keep her out of here because he required that I take a financial literacy course. And that course changed my life. So my long answer to your short question about how did I get $1 million mindset was learning about what money really is, becoming financially literate. And that came to me through 2 ways: the practical approach, which is budgeting and, understanding all of that, and the neuroscience and metaphysics approach to money. So understanding I believe money is spiritual.
Me too.
Yes. So understanding that and understanding the role that I, a spiritual being having a human experience, gets to play as it pertains to money is the reason why I filed bankruptcy at just about 35, but by the time I was 38, I was a bona fide liquid millionaire.
Yes.
And today I'm worth $12 million.
I just screamed in everyone's ear. Okay. That is amazing. I love that. I love that you just casually threw that out there, like just worth $12 million, which is amazing. It's worked
amazing.
So hard.
Is.
And I would say, could I dare to say that, of course, you need the financial literacy, the textbooks, the teaching. But what has really gotten you here is that mind-body connection, the neuroscience, the belief systems, the letting go of the limiting beliefs.
Absolutely. And being willing to challenge them. Like most of the things that we believe, we inherited them.
Yes.
They're not even our original beliefs, right? When I'm out speaking on stage, I always tell the story about a little girl who's watching her mom make a ham. The mom cleans the ham, cuts the butt off the ham, puts it in the pan, and puts it in the oven. Little girl says, Mom, why'd you just cut the butt off the ham? Mom says, I don't know. Ask your grandma. That's the way she used to do it. Little girl calls grandma. Hey, grandma, mom's making a ham. She just cut the butt off, put it in the pan, put it in the oven. Why'd she cut the butt off? Grandma says, I don't know why your mom does it, but back in the day, I did it that way because my pan wasn't big enough to fit the full ham. So there are so many things that we're just doing. We're just regurgitating. We're doing what we saw done and we have no reason why. And it's impacting the way we show up today. So first we have to take those subconscious beliefs and make them conscious. And then we have to reframe those conscious beliefs into ones that actually serve us.
Oh my God. I love it. Do you have a mantra that I know you have so many mantras, but like just right now in this moment, is there a mantra that comes to you that you say on the regular to keep yourself in this mindset?
Yeah. What would abundance do?
Oh, so tell me an example of when you would use that today. Like if you used it today.
Yeah. So, I have these alarms that go off on my phone every 3 hours to remind me to stay in the state of abundance because abundance is always expanding around us at an ever increasing rate, right? There's this quote, Arnold Patton said it, abundance isn't created. It's always here. We create limitation.
That's right.
Right? So we come out of our abundance, which is our birthright, and we step into limitation in order to experience lack in our life experience. And so that's a reminder for me to always think abundance. But here's an example. I was working with my operations manager today to book the house that we're going to have our team retreat. We do a team retreat every August to plan for the next year. And so we always go to Orlando because we can get those really big mansion-y houses. Everybody gets space to spread out. It's got a pool. It's all the things. And our team right now, there's 7 of us on our team. And we're looking at the houses. There was a house that was a little bit smaller, much more reasonably priced. And the one that I chose wasn't overly exorbitant. But in that house, everybody wouldn't have had their own bathroom. So this is the team that is helping me to serve the amazing clients that we get to serve every single day, that are allowing me to extend my work deeper into the world. So I asked myself, what would abundance do? Abundance would get the house where everybody gets their own bathroom.
Yes.
So that's what abundance did.
Okay, I'm doing this after we get off this line. I am going to set alarms every 3 hours. I love that.
Yep.
I love that. I heard, okay, so this reminds me of one that I've been channeling for a moment, which is I trust, I allow, I receive. Thank you. More, please.
Oh, I love that. I got to write that down.
Yeah. And I didn't say that. A friend of mine, a guest on our show, Jessica Zweig, said that once. And she said, I trust, I allow, I receive. Thank you. More, please. And I feel like when I'm in that mindset, I feel like everything flows. And I got to tell you, I get myself in scarcity many times a year, many times a month. The months I can look back on and see I was in full abundance are the most joyful months. And they're also the most profitable. And it's like things just flow. So
I have chills right now, Erin.
But I've got myself out of it. Like even today. And I spent a couple hours today in severe fear and scarcity, which took me off my abundance track. And when I got myself out of it, I realized like my main purpose is to serve, is to be here, to meet you. Like
right,
I
absolutely.
do this and meet you and hear your mindset and share your gifts with my community, which I'm so grateful for. What a gift. And sometimes you're not in the right mindset to talk on a show or to create content or to do the things that we do that we've gotten us here to. But when you look at how much abundance you actually create by getting yourself in abundance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have these bracelets. We gave them out at our live event. It says, what would abundance do?
I love it.
Remember those "What would Jesus do"
Yes,
bracelets? So
yes.
that's exactly what this is. It's what would abundance do.
Okay, I'm putting this. I'm literally.
I'm going to send you one.
Will you send me one? I was just going to
make
ask.
sure I have your address, and I'll
Okay,
send you.
I
A little
will,
care
and I'll
package.
send you a copy of my book, and we're going to exchange love and energy because I feel like this is so. Honestly, I feel like I needed this today. Some shows are for the team, for the peeps. This one was for me, y'all. Okay. Selfishly, this one's for me. So, okay. Now, I want to talk about this because, we use improv around here. You said you love improv, which is so great. So we also, as you know, on improv, there's yes and then when you say no in a scene, it blocks creativity. It stifles the scene. So we call those our no moments. So if somebody listening today is having a mental block when it comes to money and wealth creation, they're in a no moment in their own life, would you say an affirmation is something that could help them? Or what would you say is your go-to tool that could help them break that cycle?
So I wouldn't have them say an affirmation. And the reason why is because most of us don't believe the things we say over ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's not necessarily going to flip it for them, right? Like, so if they say I'm a millionaire, immediately upon saying that, they're going to say, yeah, right. Look at my bank account. There's no way I'm a millionaire. What I would do instead is I would have them get up and move their body. Because there's something magical that happens when you get out of your body, right? And our lack is trapped in our cellular memory.
Yeah.
That's the whole problem. Is we can immediately go back to the place where we felt that fear the very first time because it's lodged in our body. But if we're moving, we're breaking up the things that are in the way. So that's the first thing I would do is I would have them move their body. And then I would have them find evidence that substantiates the opposite of what they're believing in that moment. So if they're believing I'm broke, I don't have any money, like go pull out your wallet. You probably have some money.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why I carry a $100 bill everywhere is because I can never say I'm broke.
That is.
It's a game I play. I can't say that because I'm not.
Oh, so good. So good. So good. Something you said about storing that cellular memory, it just hit home for me. I'm going to talk to you about one of my therapy sessions. So, okay. So I had this conversation with my therapist recently, actually, and I was in a lack state. And she goes, what is this triggering for you? What experience is this triggering? And I knew exactly what it was. I was 23 years old. I had just graduated college. I was trying to be an actress in Chicago, and I was hearing no, 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 no. I was working at a bar, having an unpaid internship at a casting agency, making $50 a night in an off-Broadway show for 3 nights. Like it was painful. And I felt really down on myself for the first time because I didn't have structure. And I remember as soon as she took me back to what did this trigger for you? I knew that exact age. I knew that exact location. And I've worked on really talking to that version of myself and telling her, look what you created out of that. You did okay. You did okay. What you're saying is so good because it's just like getting up and moving releases that tension.
Yeah, it's hard to stay in the same state if you're moving your body. And I believe 2 things. Number 1, I believe that God gives you more when you're moving than he does when you stand still.
Oh.
And number 2, I heard this said once and I quote it all the time is 2/3 of God's name is go. So get into action.
That is so good. I need a pep talk with Dr. Darnyelle once a week. Okay, I'm going to turn into your podcast. We'll tell people to go there.
I was about to say, listen in.
Okay, I can do that. I actually could do that. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so we talk a lot about in improv. We use improv to adapt. And that's a skill I would say that anybody who's used improv in their life is able to do. Really, we can think very quickly on our feet. When you've used the tools, you're able to adapt. So how can somebody listening use any techniques that improv to adapt to financial challenges or opportunities? How can they be more adaptable when things aren't going as planned?
Yeah, this is probably going to sound really counterintuitive, people. So I'm just warning you in advance.
Okay.
When you have a money challenge, go spend money.
Yes.
Go spend money because you get money recirculating. If it is true, and it is, that money is an energy and it is always flowing, if it is not flowing to you, it's because you have a blockage somewhere that is preventing it from flowing. The way to get money to flow again is to go spend some. Now, I'm not saying go to Bergdorf's. Go to the corner store and get a Snickers bar.
Yeah.
Just do something to make money move, because money has to move because it's energy.
That is so good. Can I tell you a little something I've started doing? Because I've had the lack mentality for a moment here. So again, you're speaking right to my soul. Every time we book a workshop, which is what we do mostly here, our big like main thing, our workshops, I have this Amazon list. I'm talking about like $20, $30 stuff, right? And I keep it on my phone and I buy 2 things from my Amazon list for me, just for me. It could be like a shirt, a silly little handbag, something like that, a pair of earrings. In fact, I think these are from Amazon. But like, I have that mentality. And now let me ask you something. It doesn't need to be expensive, right? Or
it doesn't.
Okay.
It could be a Snickers bar. It could be whatever. Yeah. I mean, maybe don't get the Snickers bar, unless you can afford to eat the chocolate and the sugar, but it could be anything.
Yeah.
Go out to the street and find the panhandler and give them $1 bill. You're making money move in that moment.
Yes. Okay.
Give to the cause. That. Like if you have a money challenge, go donate somewhere.
Yes.
Go online and give $5. Go to wherever and round up to the next dollar and give the money to whatever cause they're supporting.
That's right.
The point is just if it is true, and it is, that money is always moving, make money move.
Oh my God, I love it so much. Okay. So we talk a lot on this show. We talk a lot about this in improv in general, failure, right? Which is inevitable. And on stage, we actually say there are no mistakes, only gifts.
Yeah, I like that.
So I love that too. But I want to talk about how when we think about money, how we can, and this happened to you at 35, you were bankrupt, right? So how can we shift our mindset to see failure as a stepping stone rather than a setback?
Yeah. And I was going to say, like, it wasn't. So here's my definition of failure: death.
Yes.
If I don't die, I didn't fail.
That's right.
Because I have an opportunity to make a tweak, make an adjustment, and to do it all over again. And because that is the belief that I hold, I either win or I learn. I don't lose.
That's it.
And so shift what you think failure is, because I believe failure is feedback. And we all know the old adage, it's a song, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. Like, you didn't fail. You have an opportunity. Somebody tried that same exact thing and it took them out of here.
Yeah.
But you're still here. That is not failure. That's an opportunity to recalibrate and try again.
Oh my God, I love it.
All in how you see it.
Okay, again, you're coming on. I'm starting every week with your show. Okay, this is what I need. This is so good. Okay, so our influence over our mindset, it really does influence our decisions. But thinking about like a high stakes scenario, like let's say, okay, let's put this into context for our peeps. You are getting a new job, you get the offer and it's lower than you've expected, and you go back and you do negotiate, but they come back lower than expected. How can our mindset influence the decisions? What would you tell somebody in that instance? Walk away, push again? What would you say to help them in their mindset to help them get to the salary they want?
Yeah. So the first thing I'm going to say is this. If you are going to go down a path to negotiate, be willing to walk away. And here's what I mean. Be willing to detach from any and all outcomes. If you are not willing, if you need that job, like you think you need air, then don't negotiate. Take what they give you. But if you walk in saying, nope, I deserve more than this. This is not about your worth because you're priceless. This is about the worth associated with the brilliance you're going to bring into that role to help that organization achieve its goals and objectives. That's what we're talking about. And I want to be clear, because a lot of people think money is their identity, and your identity is sound and secure regardless of how much money you have.
That's right.
So if you are going to negotiate, detach from outcome, be willing to walk away.
Oh my God, so good. And what happens if you are willing to walk away? In my
Get
my
what you
experience,
want.
you do. You
Because
do.
they're like, oh shit, she
Yes.
doesn't need us,
Yes.
but we want her.
Exactly.
Okay, well, we could do, yeah.
Okay, can I tell you a story about how this actually happened and played out in my own life? I was this is years ago, early in my career. I worked for an organization that grew really fast, and I was one of the first people in the firm. I was training people with a job title higher than me and making more than me to do my job. Okay. So I could get put on another project. I decided I was done. I said, you know what? I'm leaving. I found another opportunity, which happened to be about 10 grand more. At the time, 10 grand was a lot. And I ended up going back to our management team and saying, I'm leaving. I've gotten this new opportunity. They met my match for where I was going for this new opportunity and said, we'll give you the title change and we'll match your salary if you stay. And at that point, I was like, screw you. I'm walking away. And I walked away. And I did get what I wanted, but I walked away. And that changed everything in my life.
Yeah. Yep.
Isn't that wild how sometimes it takes getting to that to realize what you really want?
I think it is wild because in general, we believe that whatever it is that we have in that moment is the best thing for us. And sometimes it's a detour.
Yeah.
From our destiny, right? It's keeping us from what is actually best for us, but we're holding on to it so tight. And so again, we go back to that word surrender. I said at the beginning, if you're willing to walk away, if you're willing to detach from any outcome, no matter what it is you get when you surrender, it's going to be as good or better. It's not going to be worse. It's not going to be worse. So you really can't lose, but the only way to recognize that is to be willing to detach.
Oh my God. So good. So good. Okay. If anyone listening here today is not sold on the $1 million mindset, is there anything else that you would give them to guide them to this mindset and have them make this switch to surrender?
Yeah. I mean, I will just say this. You have to work on your mind like you wash your behind. So it is a daily, perpetual thing and journey, right? And if you are unwilling to do the work every single day, then you're not going to get the rewards that go along with it. There's a reason why Harvard and other big universities have studied mindset and growth mindset and the role that they play in goal achievement and wealth and all of these things, because it's a whole thing, right? And so if you want to truly live your best life, whatever that means for you, because it's completely subjective, then you're going to have to shift your perspective. You're going to have to stop living from your vantage point and start living from your vision point. And the only way to do that is to change the 6 inches in between your ears. I say all the time, until you work on the 6 inches in between your ears, you will not feel 7 figures between your fingers.
Oh,
it's not going to happen.
I love all your sayings. I want to write all of them down. We're going to make quotes out of every single one of them.
I have a perpetual calendar that rotates that has all my little Darnyelle isms on
Oh
them.
my God. They're so good. They're so good. I need that calendar. Okay. I'm so glad that we've had you on this show. I want to do one fun thing with you. It's called Minute to Win It at Improve It. And this is just to get to know you more. Okay. 1 minute round. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. It could be 1 or 2 word answers, whatever comes to mind, but you have to answer 7 questions in a minute or less.
Okay.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay. Favorite book?
Oh gosh. The Shack.
Oh, so good. Best TV show?
Right now I'm watching Bull, which I like.
Okay. Best podcast you've ever listened to besides yours and mine?
Redefining Wealth with Patrice Washington.
Oh, okay. Favorite song to pump you up before you negotiate or have to speak in front of an audience?
Bravo by Lettucey.
Oh, song that makes you cry.
The Wind Beneath My Wings, Bette Midler.
Right. Okay. And your dream job of all time?
It's the job I have now.
Yes. Last one. What is your it, or the thing that you bring to this world? We say it, Improve It. That thing is your it. That thing that is your purpose. What is your it?
My purpose is to demystify money so that people can walk into their wealth and abundance.
Yes. Oh my God, you did all of that in under a minute. Okay. Minute to win it. We improved it. All the things. Okay. Tell the community here, the Improve It peeps, where they can find you, where your show is, all the things.
Yeah. So you can go to movetomillions.com. And from there, you can get to everything. You can get to the podcast, my book, the planner, my socials, everything, movetomillions.com.
I love it. I'm so grateful. The podcast airwaves brought us together. I felt like I surrendered a lot during this conversation. I feel like you guided me to that. And I'm truly going to put the alarms on my phone right after we hang up.
Yeah, just keep leaning in. Just keep leaning into surrender. And when you're faced with a decision, any decision, ask yourself, what would abundance do?
We're going to end with that. You are fantastic. I'm so excited we got to know you. Everybody go to Move to Millions.
Movetomillions.com.
Find Dr. Darnyelle, devour her podcast. I'm going to do that. And I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Improve It peeps. I could talk to Dr. Darnyelle literally all day. And if you heard me in the beginning of this episode recording your intro, I was sobbing. I'm still sobbing mentally thinking about this conversation. There's so much to take away from today's show, but here's your homework. This is the biggest piece of homework I want you to take with you. Her powerful tool of putting in your phone every 3 hours, what would abundance do, as a reminder to live your life with abundance, is so powerful. I'm going to do it. As soon as I stop recording this, I'm putting reminders on my phone. I want you to do the same. We all deserve abundance. There is so much room out there for all of us. So what would abundance do? Put that in your phone. Remind yourself many hours a day, many times a day, that you deserve greatness. You deserve all of life's opportunities, and it is around you. It is a part of your mindset. What would abundance do? As always, I want you to keep failing, keep improving, because this world needs that very special it that only you can bring. I'll see you next time.